Welcome to Chopped Greens. I am your host, Philip Amerine, sitting opposite table of Luke Wright. Today we are in the, what would you say, glorious?
This is by far the nicest location we've recorded.
Yes, we are in an ASU study room today, just by location standards, and this is a full-on, if anybody's ever seen the NFL draft rooms, like the war rooms, we actually have like a full-on whiteboard behind me.
That takes up almost the whole wall.
Yeah, and I could easily see us doing an NFL or NBA fantasy draft on this wall, and it's completely serviceable.
We've even got a projector and a screen for it.
Absolutely. These are some of the nicest accommodations we have had the pleasure here at Chopped Greens of being in. So shout out to ASU, doing your alum and your students, right? And now we are going back to the crux of why we are here. And why don't you go ahead and tell the people why we're here, Luke?
Well, today we want to do a little bit of NFL action. So we're going to go over all the over-unders of the NFL, all 32 NFL teams. And we're going to try to make our prediction on whether or not the teams will be more or less successful than what Vegas odd makers think they will be.
And I am a bit of a gambling man, not like betting. I'm not somebody who likes to bet like a lot of money. I'm more of a person who likes to play games, or even though we already have it on record, we have our NBA bet, but it's there's a difference. I feel that I'm more of you have to do something or you're subjected to something. I really like those kinds of bets more than like betting $1,000 as soon as you get it to win something. I don't see the point in those.
I'm normally the opposite. I like betting money. I like betting like money or like lunch.
Oh yes, dinner. Like a good dinner bet,
Yeah, I'm not normally I did it for our NBA bet.
Oh, of course.
But for the most part, I'm normally not you have to do something. I'm normally giving cold hard cash.
Right, which me and Gary, thank you very much for being the subject of our.
This is why.
Yes. Why. Now, and we actually, for those of you who missed our last podcast, we discussed exactly what me and Gary's preferred punishment for Luke would be at the towards the end of our last podcast. So go ahead and check that out if you are so interested. I know Luke will be Googling it as soon as we get out of here. Is that the actual right word? Googling something? Can you Google something? It's actually search, right?
Well, I think you can Google something if you use Google. I wouldn't use Google to
I'm going to go Bing it. I'm going to go Yahoo.
You're really reaching right now.
Actually, I hear that they pay you if you use Bing. For some reason, I think it's that they pay you, I don't know, let's say it's 5 cents per every 5 searches or something.
I've never heard of that, but...
Yeah. Good little tip for you out there trying to make that extra money out there. Okay, so much like you said earlier, we're going to guess the over-unders. And for those of you who are unaware, Vegas puts out over-under win totals for the NFL. There are 16 NFL games for every team. And Vegas predicts right where they believe the actual number line is for each of those teams. So, for example, last year, I believe the Patriots were somewhere around 11.5 wins. And so, seeing as how they won 13 games? 14. They won the over. Now, say that they had gone 2-7, whoever guessed the under would win. So, hopefully for those of you who are just a fan of the podcast, not traditionally sports people, we'd always like to educate a little bit here. And if you so choose, Luke, I can also give you the number money lines for going over, for going under. So, there's even... lines between them.
I would like the money lines.
Fantastic. All right, so what we're going to do, since I can see all the money lines, now that I can see all the over-unders here, I'm just going to go quickly through team by team. I'm going to ask you where you think the actual line would be, and then once I tell you, we're going to both say whether or not we would prefer the over or the under on that specific team.
Okay.
All right, so here we go. To start off, let's go a little hometown cooking. Arizona Cardinals, where do you see their season? Where do you think Vegas would put them?
I'm going to say 8.5.
8.5?
Is where I would put them if I was in Vegas.
Vegas has them actually as a solid 8. So good. You're only half a point. So
I mean, that's
you're 1 for 1 right there. I'll give you a point. There and back. So
baller.
And where do you think? So that means that for those of you, again, for needing some education on here, if the Cardinals were to go in their season 8-8, it would be a push. It would be a tie. You get your money back. So that's a much rarer thing than
normally they do
7.5
or so that way, so you don't have pushes.
Yes.
And just so the audience knows, ties are very rare.
Yeah.
So like Vegas normally doesn't take ties into account when they do this. So theoretically, you could get 8.5 if there was a tie. It's just it happens so rarely that.
Right. If it was a tie,
I'm not sure if they'd actually count it as a half for Vegas.
Oh.
Would they count it as 8.5?
So if they got 7.5, so say that they had it at 7.5, and Arizona won 7 games and tied once. Ooh, I don't know.
I'm not sure if anyone more experienced.
Yes, and in betting.
Yeah, normally over-unders I don't bet.
Actually, I do know some.
totals.
I do know some degenerate gamblers in my life, and I will definitely reach out to them, see what
work
they
with a couple. Of them.
Yes, get it. Work with. Don't we all? It's just in everybody's preferred method of losing money. All right. Do you think that that's about right? Which side of the thing do you hold on there?
Yes, I've been saying this for a while now. I know there's a lot of optimism in the Valley still. I am personally not sold on the Arizona Cardinals for this upcoming year. I think that they're going to have a lot of the same problems as last year. They lost some really key pieces on defense. So I hope that they'll be able, with the additions they've made, they'll be able to make up for it. But overall, I think that a lot of people have lost the luster. And although I don't think that they are as bad as they were last year, I don't think they will be good enough to make it to like an NFC championship like they did 2 years ago.
So it sounds like you're taking the under?
I would take the under.
Okay. A little more than what you went into. I just think the Carson Palmer experience is over. I think at the end of next year, Carson Palmer and Larry Fitzgerald will retire. We'll get somebody new that they'll hopefully move up in the draft and get somebody. Every year I keep waiting for them to get an heir apparent to Carson Palmer, so that way he'll take over. But Bruce Arians hasn't really gone forward with that as of right now, kind of forcing the win now window. While I like their defense, and I think that they added a bunch to their defense in addition to losing some pieces, and Kim Dichie, their number 1 pick last year, I think is going to come into his own more so, be more of a full-on starter. Chandler Jones just got signed to a big contract, brand new shiny contract this offseason. But still in all, it is a quarterback-driven league. Carson Palmer, I don't believe in him. And also, that division in and of itself, while it's not it's not a great overall division, I would say it's more, they feast on themselves.
Yeah.
So they will bring them, all of them will be watered down because they all just, it's almost like a paper, rock, scissors. The Seahawks get beaten by the Rams. The Cardinals beat the Rams. The Seahawks beat the Cardinals. It's
just, except the Niners.
The Niners are out of that. They're the gum on the bottom of your shoe that is paper, rock, scissors, gum. What? All right, so I'm going to go under as well. It's minus 125 to go under 8.
Okay, so everyone knows you'd have to bet $100.
$125 to win
$100.
Yeah. So there you go. All right, next up we have Atlanta Falcons, the defending NFC champs.
I'd put the over-under 10.5.
You are still within that point. They are at 9.5 right now. Are you going over or under on that?
I'd take the over. Their division's not particularly strong outside of Carolina and Tampa, but you don't know for sure what you have in Carolina and Tampa right now. So I look for them to repeat, get solid 10-win season. I haven't looked at their schedule very well, so maybe there might be a few extra losses that I don't know off the top of my head. Overall, I think they're a very skilled team, and although I'm not sure if they are good enough to repeat going back to the Super Bowl, I think that they won't have the same kind of slump that you see these last 2 Super Bowl teams in Denver and Carolina have next year.
So you're picking the over?
I'm taking the over.
All right, I'm taking the under just for the simple fact that within this division, some strange What is that triangle on the bottom of the world where everything gets
Bermuda
lost?
Triangle?
Yes, I wanted to say that, but I didn't want to sound stupid. The Bermuda Triangle division of the NFL, everything gets flip-flopped the year after, and I think Panthers I could very easily see winning that division. This is an opposition of the Arizona Cardinals, where I see just a really good division, and it's not just them beating each other up. It's just they're gonna have to fight for every win that they get. And plus, I didn't like their run last year. It was a last place run for them. Now that their scheduling gets a little bit tougher, I see a lot more emphasis on winning those home games, and those away games will be a lot harder. Pencil me in for the under on the Atlanta Falcons on 9.5.
Before we go ahead, I just want to let the audience know we don't have their specific schedules in front of us. We're really basing this off of how we feel about the specific teams themselves. And the only teams we really mention are the teams that are in their division, because those are the only for sure opponents we know of off the top of our head.
Right.
So don't go home and look up schedules and then yell at us like, why do you think they can lose this many times with this schedule? We're really basing this off of how we feel about the teams coming into this season.
Right. Theoretically, we could write all the opponents on the big whiteboard.
If we had known that there was such a marvelous whiteboard, we could have done that.
Next time for sure. All right, now we're moving on to the Baltimore Ravens. Luke, where do you got them?
I'm going to say 9.5.
Man, you are on fire today, Luke. They are on 9. They are at a solid 9, and over under on 9.
I would say push.
Ooh, so you're gonna if you get that right, you get a 1.5.
Oh,
yeah.
I did not know that.
Because that's really, I think, if you can somehow bet specifically that it comes on the exact number, then you get more implied odds, of course.
Okay, makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'd bet that's exactly what they're going to do. This is another division that they play each other incredibly tough, and even for how bad Cleveland is, and they are very bad, they still play their division opponents pretty tough. So I think that they'll have a winning record. They might be able to win the division, if I'm being honest, with a 9-7 record. Depending upon how Pittsburgh does, Pittsburgh's kind of been underperforming during the season lately, and then they come on strong and then do good in the postseason. But overall, I'd put it at 9, and I think that they push right at that 9.
Yeah, I'm gonna go under on this one, only because I could see them being in every game with really that culture that they have as a team down there in Baltimore, or up there, I guess, really. In Baltimore, they really have a winning culture, and I think that cruises them on reputation to a couple more wins than they really should. But they, to me, do not have the requisite pieces. Losing Steve Smith, as weird as it is to say, I just don't believe that they have. I don't like their running back or their wide receiver combo or tandem. All they have is that guy from Pittsburgh, the speedster. I can't remember.
Mike Wallace.
Mike Wallace. I was going to say Mike Williams. Mike Wallace, and that's about it. Kamar Aiken for more yards is not going to do anything for me this year unless if he gets injured, and then in which case Joe Flacco is going to, again, be just sitting in the pocket waiting for somebody to get open. You can't put Mike Wallace on deep slants or Hail Mary passes all the time, so
why not?
Why not? Just
do it.
Run for the hills.
Just keep running, Mike.
Yes.
You remember those back school football?
Oh, the wishbone / the running back throws down to Mike Wallace. Oh, that'd be a wonderful thing. But really, their offense, I think, is going to have them lose a lot of these games. That their defense will really help set them up in position to win. So I'm going to go under on the Baltimore Ravens. Probably finish around somewhere around 8-8, 7-9, maybe even 9-7. But I'll take the safe bet of under 9. And again, that minus 125 there. Buffalo Bills, the Rex Ryan-less Buffalo Bills.
I'm gonna say 8-8.
So you're going 8. Your first wrong one. The Buffalo Bills are at a measly 6.
I'm going to take the over on that then.
Whoa!
I like Tyrod Taylor. I like LaShawn McCoy. I like that offense. I like what they're going to be able to do.
You like their new head coach this year, Sean McDermott?
I do like Sean McDermott. I think it's going to be a really good team. Obviously, I do not think they'll be good enough to dethrone the Patriots. But, I mean, you're looking at a couple easy wins against the Jets, and I think you can split against Miami. So, overall, I think they'll definitely be more over 6. I'd say probably 8-8, maybe 9-7.
Wow, I'm definitely going with the under. Part of all this too is that at some point you got to pick the under, only because there's only a mathematical amount of wins and losses there. So to kind of even it out, I just got to step out on a ledge. And out of all the teams I see here and all the ones that we've discussed so far, I really see the potential to lose a lot more games than to win a lot more games. I think that they'll have to work a lot harder than most teams to win a couple games. And losing Stephon Gilmore is going to hurt them, and also that the Patriots acquired him in free agency directly affects them, where losing him really hurts them. It also adds to the Patriots. So I think that in that specific matchup, their loss is New England's gain, which pushes them even further. Tyrod Taylor's been kind of under the scalpel and knife, being picked apart by upper management there. I don't think that his confidence is fully invested. I just don't see this team really overachieving right now. I think they're in rebuilding mode. Watch for them to be sellers at the trade deadline. Under 6, and it's at an even line right now for under.
There's a lot of evens this year.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Carolina Panthers.
I'm gonna say Vegas put the over/under at 8.5.
On the button, ding, 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 8.5. Right?
Man, I'm good.
Oh, you should set up a casino.
Should.
Except not at your house. That's illegal.
That is highly illegal, and I would never commit a crime.
Anyways.
Oh, there's no director at the FBI right now. I'm good.
Oh, yes. Come and get me. That was good. You got to admit that one was good.
It was good.
Okay, cool.
I'll begrudgingly give you
buddy.
points for that pun.
Yes. All right. Let's talk about the Carolina Panthers.
I think that they will probably be... This is a tough one for me. I think they'll be right around 8.5. I think they'll be 7-9, 9-7, 8-8. I think they'll be right around that kind of mesh point, just because I don't see that they improved enough to skyrocket back to the top. But at the same time, they definitely didn't get worse. So
you gotta love that Christian McCaffrey pick.
I do. I love him. But at the same time, while I think he's going to help the offense, I don't know if he's really going to... If adding another running back to an already pretty good running game is necessarily...
Well, I think that's mostly reputation. Last year, their running game was in the bottom half of the league, and that really...
But that was mostly due to injury.
Well, there you go. Christian McCaffrey himself, even though he is a smaller back, he's a hybrid back, and anybody who came into this draft knew that coming in. So I think that they're going to utilize him as such, put him in a bit of a running back by committee role. He'll probably be the lead back out of the two-headed monster between him and the other back that they have there. Jonathan Stewart, yes. They'll have him and Christian McCaffrey be the head of a running back committee. And with Cam Newton, hopefully they finally stick him in the pocket this year. I get it. I get the lure to use him as a running back as well. It really creates a lot of mismatches, but I think in this league you're only getting worse if you just put your quarterback up there to be hit more and more, and I don't think that that's the way you need to go. With their over under at 8.5, they're one of the teams I could say winning this division. So I'll be negative. I'll be pessimistic. I'll go under, but I don't feel strong about that one. That one I'm not going to run to the table. It could be 9. It could be 8.
I won't be placing my bet on that one.
No. If I had to place the Amerine Mansion on one of these bets, that would not be it. All right, here we go. Chicago Bears. Mitchell Trubisky, or Mitch Trubisky, however you want to pronounce their new starting quarterback's name.
Whatever their win total is, under.
Well, what do you think it is?
4.5.
Wow, and even that you would go under?
Yes.
Well, you are within the point, but Vegas is a little more generous. They got them at 5.5.
Okay. I would still go under 5.5 as well.
Okay.
They don't have really any good offensive pieces.
Howard, their running back.
They have one good offensive piece.
And theoretically, they have Kevin. Oh gosh.
They have Kevin White and Cameron Meredith.
Yes, and then also their wide receiver that they got in the draft as a first-round draft pick 2 years ago now. He's been injury prone, and I can't remember his name to save my life right now. Kevin White.
I just said Kevin White.
Well, I thought you said Kevin Wayne.
No.
I was just going to give you that one and let you live. I was like, I don't think that they have a Kevin Wayne.
They have a Kevin White.
They do have a Kevin White. So theoretically, there's another piece that everybody loved before the draft.
Howard had one good year. I'm not willing to crown him the next
big
Dale
running back.
Sayers.
Yes.
I'm not, and you see this a lot with kind of lesser teams. When you only have one wide receiver to throw to and the other team doesn't respect you as a team, that one wide receiver
is going to be
1.5 wide receiver sometimes. They're going to get a lot better stats than what they should because they won't be covered. Like when you don't care, when you're not worried about the Bears, you tend to slack up a little bit.
And really, a lot of those are garbage time stats.
Exactly.
Very much later on, like the Jacksonville Jaguars, Blake Bortles.
When you're down by 30 in the fourth quarter, you're going to be throwing it anyways. And the opposing
just throw
team
the little slant, hoping he'll get something.
Yeah. So I think their stats are a little inflated. I'm not willing to say they have any bona fide, genuine pieces yet.
So you're taking the under.
Under.
I'm going to go over. And the only reason why I'm going to go over is I think that this is a game where both the starting quarterback, Glennon, and John Fox are fighting for their job, respectively. And that I don't see this as a very strong division. The Lions don't scare me if I'm Chicago. Minnesota just has a one-sided defense. Sam Bradford certainly doesn't scare me.
Teddy Bridgewater might be back this year.
Might be, but they didn't even pick up his fifth-year option. They don't know.
Yeah, but they want to see what. I think he'll be back, but I think they didn't want to guarantee themselves. They didn't want to commit to that extra year.
Right.
They wanted him to prove.
I hope he's back. I mean, I hope so. I would love to see. You don't want to see somebody's career go down because of injury. But anyways, regardless, you don't know what he's going to be. So Minnesota doesn't particularly scare me. Green Bay, they had a slump earlier in the year. They can be taken. So maybe if for some reason the bad man out of Green Bay goes down, whatever. So I'll be optimistic. I'll give them 6 games, but that's about all I'm going to take. Cincinnati Bengals.
7.5.
8.5. Still within a point, so good for you. Where are you going to go there? Over or under?
At 8.5, I'm going to say under. I think that Marvin Lewis... There are times where I don't like when coaches get fired.
You will enjoy...
I won't enjoy it. I just think that he deserves to get fired. He is proven... I think he's like the second longest tenured coach in the NFL right now behind Belichick. Maybe third. Like, he's up there.
Yeah.
And he has literally, not figuratively, literally nothing to show for it.
Well, he has, what was it? At a time, he had 5 or 6 straight playoff appearances. He doesn't have the wins. He can't prove that he can win in the postseason. I understand that there are times where you shouldn't fire your coach, like Lovie Smith getting fired after a 10-6 season. I wasn't completely on board with that, but Marvin Lewis has had like 13 or 14 years. I think maybe even more. He's had his time. He's proven that he just can't get the team over the hump. And I think that right now they're just going to slowly decline until they get rid of him. Andy Dalton has literally become the litmus test for average quarterback. Are you
play.
Better than Andy Dalton or worse than Andy Dalton?
That's it. And so I don't see the team winning a lot. I think they'll compete, they'll play hard, but overall they aren't a good team, and I think that I think it's time for Marvin Lewis to go.
Well, I will say, if you're the Cleveland Browns, if you're even Detroit Lions, somewhere in that realm, and you're guaranteed to go to the playoffs for 5-6 years, I think that you take that up. not to say that he doesn't deserve to be fired, because really, after a certain point, it's 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and you're just stuck in purgatory of just getting to the playoffs. Now, some of those I feel are over-bloated, because really, it's almost one of those things where if you're really good, you get a first-round bye, so you don't even get a soda can of an opponent to knock over on your way to get a cheap playoff win like you can in the NBA. If you're the Boston Celtics, you've won a series against the number 8 seeded Chicago Bulls. I mean, really, yes, you can say that you won a playoff series, but what does that mean? So, in that sense, I'll defend them a little bit. But outside of that, Cincinnati Bengals definitely taking the under on this. I just don't see in a bloated division with the Steelers and the Bengals. I gotta believe that the Steelers will be pushing all in this year. And with Juju Smith-Schuster on the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm going to say that they're destined for greatness this year.
Marvin Lewis has been the head coach of the Bengals since 2003. He's made the postseason 7 times, not a single win. Time for him to go.
I say stick with Marvin. Stick with Marvin, Cincinnati, or even better yet, bring him over here to the NFC West. I want to see him in LA or the 49ers, so that way we get some cheap wins. There we go.
Who's next?
Cleveland Browns.
I'm going to put the over-under at 3.5.
It has actually at 4.5.
Oh.
Yeah,
I'm
so
taking the under.
I assumed you would.
I'll take the under.
Any other reason other than it's Cleveland?
I like what Cleveland's doing. If I'm being perfectly honest, I think they're doing it the right way. They just need time now. They need to continue what they're doing, and they need time.
If I'm not mistaken, they even admitted this past year to tanking of sorts for a better pick. And there's nothing that tells me logically they know, if they're being honest with themselves, that they're kind of hedging their bets with Kaiser, hoping that he's something, but knowing that he's a huge project. Yeah. So I think that they're going to hedge their bets and lose as much as they can this upcoming year and really shoot for Sam Darnold or the other guy out of UCLA, any of the top draft prospects in next year's draft. And
take the L. You have plenty of other positions you need to draft for. Just keep on building. You're going the right way, Cleveland. Just please be patient.
Yes, and hopefully, and it says something that we can just say that, but also, the paying customers, it's hard. All right, we go all the way down to Dallas.
I'm going to put over under 10.
You're at 9.5, so you're right there.
I'm going to take the over.
Really? Explain yourself, sir.
I like Dak Prescott. I like Ezekiel Elliott. I know the offensive line has taken some hits, but it's still a very good offensive line. And I think with Dez Bryant there, I think the defense is getting better. I don't really see any reason why they couldn't repeat what they did last year. I think they're in I don't want to say easy division because they're not in an easy division. But they're in a division where they're going to get a lot of splits. They're not going to... I don't think they'll sweep any of the other 3 teams, but they won't get swept by
Redskins they'll take.
I don't know. I don't even think that's a guarantee.
That's a guarantee. I will mark that down on my calendar. Continue.
But even then, you're only looking at that 1 extra win compared to 3 splits. So, I mean... I like them. I think they're a team that can travel on the road and play at home. So I would take the over. I'd say they're going to probably win 11 to 12 games.
You are completely wrong. And I will say it's because that offensive line has a lot more issues. Where what used to be a strength is now average. It used to be the top line in the NFL. And I'll say that even I think the Cleveland Browns line now competes with the Dallas Cowboys, because where they had 5 completely solid starters now, and actually in a really good backup with Lyle Collins / Doug Free to really mix it up and come in as replacements for that line to really rest them and keep them fresh as the game wore on. They've lost now Doug Freed of retirement. They lost another guy to the Cardinals, if I'm correct. No, to the Broncos. I'm sorry. They lost another piece of that line to the Broncos, and I think that now they're going to be playing a first place schedule since they were the number 1 seed in the NFC. They now play a much harder schedule. So now they're going to lose a lot more games than last year I felt was an aberration. And while you can't do any more or play any more than the teams you have in front of you, I don't think it was genuine. And I will say that they are going to go under there. Maybe at 9. I think 9 could even be there.
Haters gonna hate.
I would love it if they went 8-8 and just missed it. But 9 might be where they are. Okay. Right at the heartstring. Denver Broncos.
8.
8.5. Explain yourself, sir.
I think they'll go 8, maybe over. I think this is arguably the toughest division in football, depending upon how the Chargers continue to trend up or down. Obviously, we are both biased as two Broncos fans, but last year we were very close, a field goal away from
first team
having
out of the
winning
playoffs.
season. Yeah, so I think overall this is just a really good division that's going to beat the crap out of each other.
Oh, yeah.
All season long.
And look out for those Chief Bronco games with Jamal Charles switching sides.
These are going to be some of the greatest games of the whole league. So I think they'll be able, depending upon how Trevor Siemian / Paxton
that's one of the
Lynch,
few genuine quarterback battles we'll see coming into training camp and offseason. Paxton Lynch and Trevor Siemian.
Not just quarterback battles before, but however they
throughout
play
the season.
Yeah. I think that's going to determine how far this team goes. They don't need to be great.
I just hope that they don't suffer an Arizona Cardinals quarterback battle where everybody was like, who's going to get it, John Skelton or Kevin Cobb? And then later on in the season we realize it doesn't matter.
I don't think it'll be that bad. This defense is still one of the best in the league. Mm-hmm. And I think they have a lot of supporting pieces at wide receiver and running back. I think that the quarterback doesn't need to throw for 4,500 yards, 30 touchdowns. They just kind of need to manage the game.
Yeah. And
they'll be able to win 9-10 games. So
I'm going to go under on there. I just don't see it right now, and I think it's a quarterback-driven league. As great of the defense as that is, I think it's aging. I'll flip the coin, hoping in my heart that they'll still be stout and elite, but thinking, they're getting older, Ware's gone. So probably come back to regress to the norm. I'll say that they go under 8, hoping that they go above. Detroit Lions.
8.5.
You're going to shoot yourself at 8.
Damn.
I know. That one you're hoping.
Well, I am going to go over. I know that you are not a believer in the Detroit Lions, but I am a believer in the Detroit Lions.
God bless you.
I think without Calvin Johnson, Matthew Stafford doesn't look to throw to him every single play, so he tries to spread the ball out a lot more. I think that defense just needs some more experience and maybe another couple playmakers, but I think it's average enough to be able to win enough games as long as Stafford can stay healthy.
I am under. They did not. I don't even know of one good move that they made in the offseason. I can't even tell you of one good move. Can you name me one good Detroit Lion move of the offseason?
I haven't been following the Detroit Lions.
Exactly.
So.
They didn't even try for anybody that I could even tell you. At least the Saints tried to get Adrian Peterson, and now they have like a full stable of running backs that they have to decide who's going to go. But I am so under on the Detroit Lions. They're going to get beat up, and I would say that they're going to compete with the Bears for the bottom of that division. Let's go to the Green Bay Packers. Over under would be at, sir?
10.5.
Right at 10.
I'm going to take the under.
Oh. Ooh.
Ooh.
Why under?
I love Aaron Rodgers, but I think people are slowly starting to figure him out more. He's still one of the elite quarterbacks, but you can only perform at that level for so long. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that the Packers have the same kind of coaching as Tom Brady does in New England with Bill Belichick. But I don't think that offense is going to be able to constantly sustain itself for a full season. And although I think they did try to make some improvements on the defense, I just don't know if they made enough improvements. I think that is going to be a tough battle in the division. Like I said, I'm high on Detroit. I'm high on Minnesota. I am very low on the Bears, but I just don't think that Green Bay is as much of a lock as some people like to think they are.
I'm definitely going over. Aaron Rodgers had a slump last season, and even then, a slump for him is an average man. And that's an Andy Dalton. A slump for him is an Andy Dalton. That just goes to show you how great he is. I believe he's just entering his 30s, if I'm not mistaken.
I want to say he's 31 or 32.
Yeah, so very low down there. And at that point, I don't even think we should be talking about him leaving his prime. I think he's somewhat towards the end, but not leaving it. So I'm going to stick with my faith on Aaron Rodgers, say that they're going over, maybe even winning the conference. Who knows? We'll see.
Winning the conference? Wow.
Yeah, winning the AFC or the NFC, and just in the regular season. I'm not saying throughout the playoffs or anything. That's for a different podcast. Houston Texans.
I'm gonna say 9.5.
Just barely got there. 8.5.
Okay. I'm gonna take the over.
Wow.
Dun dun dun.
Somebody's got to win that division.
Exactly. That division's not a good division. Houston had 9 wins last year, and that was with nobody at quarterback.
So now, even if Deshaun Watson is another nobody, maybe they can still get a 9.
And I like Deshaun Watson. He's a winner. He's proven that he's a winner. So I think he'll be able to come in.
He'll start from day one?
I don't
Mid-season starter?
I don't know. I think he might be a mid-season start. At least get a little bit of a feel for the NFL.
Does he have to start this year?
No, he doesn't have to. If Tom Savage does enough and he's competent enough, then I wouldn't be upset if they didn't start Deshaun Watson.
I think Deshaun Watson will start a little bit earlier because Tom Savage has been somewhat injury prone throughout his career, so we'll see how that goes. I'm with you on the over. Indianapolis Colts, the other vying for the top of that division.
8.5.
We're at 9.
Okay.
So nothing outrageous.
I'll take I'll take the push. Andrew Luck's good, but that's all that's on that team.
Well, they've been having a few sneaky good additions this past offseason. I kind of like what their GM Grigson's doing.
I mean, they had nowhere to go but up. I guess you're right.
I'm going to take the over. I think that they win the division. Maybe even Houston's that wild card team. But I like the Colts. I like Andrew Luck to reassert his dominance, and so on and so forth. Jacksonville Jaguars.
7.5, 6.5,
6.
I'd take the over.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I don't.
That seems a little low to me.
I don't blame them because everyone thought they'd be a playoff team last year.
Everybody was really high on them with Jalen Ramsey and their middle linebacker.
And I don't know why, but I'm still gonna be high on them again.
Oh, let's take the roller coaster, the merry-go-round of death.
Well.
Right until you die.
I just literally copy and paste any argument anybody had for the Jaguars last season.
Theoretically, where's their weakness?
Where are
they?
Add Tom Coughlin to the mix, and then I think they'll do better. So watch as they fail and only win like 5 games.
The only thing potentially holding them back is Blake Bortles, and you just really hope that he can make that upward mobility into a upper tier echelon starting quarterback.
Yeah.
If he just totally falls flat on his face, I take this all back. It means nothing under 6. But come on, finally, just win the division for something. Kansas City Chiefs, of Patrick Mahomes' draftability.
9.5.
9. 9. So good intuition there. You are only 2 away from. You are 2 wrong, but outside of that, you are perfect.
I will say over.
Yeah, they're a really good regular season team.
You know, Jamal Charles isn't as much of a loss as people like to think.
They didn't even use him last year.
He's an amazing player. He gets hurt.
They prepared for life without him last season.
Yeah,
they found out that they could do it, and then it's not a big.
He just gets hurt. Like Jamal Charles averages like 5.5 yards, 6 yards a carry for his career. It's just he gets hurt every other game with like a torn ACL.
Yes, and he has a bit of a fumbling problem too.
So I think that the Jamal Charles loss isn't that big. I think they'll, again, like we said, that division's going to be tough. So I'm willing to take the over. I think that the defense and the game manager and Alex Smith will be good. The only thing I'm worried about is you take away the Patty Mahomes from Patty Mahomes when you have Alex Smith as your mentor. Because those are 2 completely separate.
Oh, you're so wrong on that.
How?
Because he is the fire to Alex Smith's ice. He will cool him down and hopefully what you're hoping if you're Andy Reid is to boil him down to a simmering, low, warm boil of a middle of the 2. Like he eventually goes from what he is now and from where Alex Smith is to some middle deranged baby in the middle where he has the talent, but he has an Alex Smith mentality.
But then he's just Alex Smith.
No. Alex Smith does not have that arm strength.
But Alex Smith has the capability to make almost any NFL throw. He just never does because he's never asked to.
No, he does not have that. I mean, he has a little bit more wheels than people give him credit for, but I will not give you arm strength. Alex Smith,
I'm not saying arm strength. I'm saying he can make most of the throws.
Well, there's a difference between could he, with nobody coming at him, but Patrick Mahomes has shown that he can do it no matter what. As on his knees, avoiding the pass rush. There's pictures there's videos of him throwing on his knees from goalpost to goalpost. As you look at me inquisitively.
So what's the next team?
Oh my gosh, L.A. Chargers. I'm picking the over for the Kansas City Chiefs, by the way. But L.A. Chargers.
7.5.
On the nose. Ding,
Nailed
ding,
it.
ding, ding.
I'll take the over.
What?
I don't know. Or under.
Yeah.
Or both.
Fix yourself.
I think they'll be 7,
You're
9,
gonna
8,
do
8.
7.5.
Just take both. I'll place 2 bets, one for the over, one for the under.
Yeah.
Who knows? Philip Rivers is an enigma now.
Great quarterback name.
No, it's not.
Yes.
Just in general, they're such a hit or miss team. They have some new pieces I'm curious to see. I don't know. I have so little opinion of the Chargers with how worthless they have been in the past 4 or 5 years that I don't even know what they can be anymore.
Theoretically, they should be a playoff team, right? I mean, last year they had a great defense, statistically at least, and just their offense just could not have been any more injured than it was. There was, outside of Phillip Rivers, everybody else was just a revolving door of, oh, you can be now injured. Oh, you can be now injured. So theoretically, they should be a playoff team, but if the injury bug strikes again, they're just devastated. I'll go the under. Just to be safe, I think, especially with the distraction of moving to LA, hopefully that, and I say hopefully to just prove that I'm right, but hopefully they go under for that reason. So I'll just say under. The other LA team, LA Rams.
7.5.
No, 5.5.
Well, under.
Under a 5.5.
I'm just not convinced on Todd Gurley.
What? He's like the one piece I'm him and Aaron Donald.
He didn't have a good year at all last year.
Name their offensive line.
Okay, what did they improve on their offensive line?
They got Andrew Whitworth from the Bengals.
And that somehow turns Gurley
a great left tackle, yes. You can now move who you had at left tackle to become a better than average right tackle and so on and so forth. As long as you had one better piece, you can kind of shift and serve an offensive line to become better.
I'm still not convinced that they'll be any good. Their defense, I think, will take a step back. now that they have a more offensive-oriented coaching staff. I just don't see them being any good.
All right. Well, I'm going to tell you that you're right. I'm going to pick under too. But I just wanted to make sure that I had a voice in LA. Miami Dolphins.
9.5.
Ooh, way wrong. 7.5.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll take the over on that.
That's your aberration of the.
That's
the bets?
that's my. I would definitely take the over.
Where do you see him finishing? 9?
Like 9 and 7.
Wow.
I think they have enough pieces.
Well, hey, you forgot they're going to sweep the Patriots this year, according to their wide receiver.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Okay.
But I think
they might win a game because Miami for some reason always plays New England hard.
They somehow win one game against New England
when they have no shot.
Unexpected times.
Right. Never in the beginning of the year. It's always that last game in Miami, and the Patriots are semi-resting, semi-needing that last win, and they just beat them.
So I mean, I think Miami is due more credit than they're given.
Right. I'm gonna pick the under. Vegas says that this is an aberration and that the Miami Dolphins should not be trusted. Therefore, say goodbye to Gase. I'm saying under 7.5. Minnesota Vikings.
8.5.
Absolutely right, sir. Congratulations on hitting it right on the nose.
I'm just a pretty amazing person in general, I would say.
Maybe you're channeling your inner Viking.
Maybe I just have the right intuition.
Wow, you're really gonna go all in on that, aren't you?
I've been going all in on that for the past 22 years of my life.
Well, you've only got however many left. All right, so
wow, is that a vague threat?
That was deep. I like to think. You think that they're going to go over that?
I think so. The defense is really good.
Well, they have Detroit to beat on, so that's good.
Yeah, and the Bears.
Well, actually, yeah, you're actually completely 100% right on the Bears, but continue.
And their offense doesn't have to be that great. You know, they haven't had Adrian Peterson the last couple years, realistically.
I had a question. Who do the Bears beat? I know we're going back, but who do the Bears beat?
The Niners.
They play them this year?
Yeah, that's actually what led to the Niners being second and Bears being third is because the Bears beat the Niners.
No, I meant this upcoming year.
Oh.
Who did they beat? I mean, in that division, maybe...
in the division, no one. They get swept by all three.
By everybody?
Yes.
I don't know. They played their division hard.
But
I think they'll take one from the Lions. But continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, their offense doesn't have to be great. They've been playing without Adrian Peterson for a while. If Teddy Two Gloves can come back and perform even mostly to the potential he was showing before, I think that they will have a good season.
I'll take the under. I'm really being pessimistic here. I don't... Sam Bradford does not bestow upon me confidence, although he is in a contract year. He always gets the most money, unbelievably so. I'll still say under and be proven wrong by Sam Bradford having a paper cut season the whole entire year. All right, here we go. This is going to be actually really tough, all right? New England Patriots.
12.5.
I'm stunned. You got it right on the nose.
Over.
Over?
Yeah, they always go over. They'll probably go 13-3 again because it's New England. Tom Brady, Belichick, done.
But you realize that in order to go over on that, they have to still be fighting for something. Belichick does semi-rest his starter, and especially Gronkowski.
I'm sorry. Did you not hear me?
Okay.
Brady, Belichick.
And in the last one?
Done.
Oh, okay. Just making sure. One more time, just for...
Brady.
Okay, Brady. Brady.
Belichick.
Belichick?
Belichick.
Oh, Belichick, yeah. Okay.
Done.
Like D-U-N?
Yeah.
Oh.
However you want to spell it.
However you want to spell it, it's like a steak. Well done. I'm going to go... Man, it is right at that 12 and 13 mark.
When's the last time they had 12 wins or less? It's been at least 2 years.
When's the last time Brady's been over 40 years old?
That doesn't matter.
Yes, I just made my own case for myself. I'm going to go under and say that they win 12.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Really going out on a limb here. New Orleans Saints, newly acquired Adrian Peterson. Got a couple running backs in the draft. Where do you think they go? What's their win?
7.5.
At 8.
I'll take under.
Ooh.
They still don't have a defense.
That's true.
They haven't had a defense that they can score points. We get it, Sean Payton. You won a Super Bowl with it.
Although, let me play devil's advocate here. If they institute a Dallas Cowboys methodology of running the ball for time control purposes, does that help them?
No.
No?
Because they won't do that.
Yeah, Sean Payton likes
Sean Payton
himself some
Drew
Sean Payton.
Brees will not allow that.
I like
to happen.
me some me.
Yeah, they're
Drew
not.
Brees, I think, has it in his contract that I cannot throw for under 5,000 yards per season.
I think Drew Brees hurts the Saints more than helps.
Oh, in general?
Yes.
Ooh.
That with how big that contract is, and with how much they basically make that team into, hey, how many yards can we get Drew Brees to have this season?
Well, to be fair, though, in past years, what else have they had? I would ride that pony. It's almost like the Kobe Bryant thing, but less so in the NFL.
No, but because to me, at least Kobe won 5 titles. Drew Brees got lucky enough that at that year he won a Super Bowl.
You're right.
They managed to get that surprise onside kick, and the defense was able to come up for like 3 total plays throughout the postseason. So to me, it's a little different. Like Drew Brees himself. Just
but let's be honest here. You're saying Kobe has 5, but Drew Brees' 1. I say is, at least in social currency, is equivalent to Kobe's 5.
I wouldn't say 5.
Well, for the Lakers though, 5 for the Lakers is.
I would say maybe 2, arguably 3. Definitely not 4.
Okay.
You definitely cannot say 1 Super Bowl equals 5
in New Orleans,
titles.
though, they haven't won anything besides
matter.
that. And that does matter.
Oh, so I'm sorry. Are we going to start giving Gonzo 5 titles because they won a World Series?
I'm going to say LeBron's 1 in Cleveland counts for more than Michael's.
Counts for 1.5.
3. What?
You don't. That's not how
he broke the curse single. Oh
that's
my gosh.
not how titles work.
That is. I'm saying in social currency, it means more in certain places.
Moving on. Who is the next
New
one?
York Giants, go.
8.5.
9. Man,
Under.
I'm beginning to hate this game. You're too good. You're saying over, or you're saying under?
Under. I don't see them being that much better or worse than what they were last year.
Oh, so you're even like you're pushing a push.
Yeah.
I'm going to go over. I like their defense. They strengthened that offense. And actually, most people say that they didn't add to their offensive line. Getting a tight end there could theoretically help you because you get that additional blocking scheme. Anytime I hear anything coming out of New York, all they say is they allocate the reason why they were so bad on the offensive line was due to youth and upping in potential. So maybe I'm hoping another year underneath the belt of Eric Flowers specifically, who was just a turntable there last year, just letting anybody and everybody through. I'll go over just because that defense is just ferocious.
I don't think that they can stand up against the Eagles and Dallas.
Definitely.
They
swept Dallas last year. Yeah, yes they did. Yes they did. Yeah, speechless. I got him speechless. New York Jets.
Oh yeah, how did they do in the postseason last year?
They fared a lot better than the Cowboys did.
No, they didn't.
Oh yes, they did. They had to go up to Lambeau. Would you rather play a home game in Cowboy Stadium?
The Giants?
Yeah, they had to go up to Lambeau.
Didn't they lose?
Well, yeah, but that's not the point.
That is the point.
Their first half performance was way better than the first half performance of the Cowboys.
And then they lost.
As did the Cowboys, and the Cowboys lost in a more heartbreaking fashion, which I say
Cowboys
is
made
worse.
it further.
What? No, just by definition of where they were slated.
Yeah, because they were better.
What? No.
Anyways, Jets, I'm saying 6.5.
You are wrong, and I relish in the fact that you are wrong. It is at 5.
Damn.
I know, that is pretty bad.
I'll probably take the under anyways.
Yeah, I know. I know. I'm going to stick at the under, although they do have a lot of defensive pieces to work around, especially like 6 safeties after the draft is all said and done.
6 safeties?
Yeah. And like 4 defensive linemen.
Who needs linebackers anymore? Put the safeties in. Put
the safeties in. Have them all free range, just like chickens. All right. Oakland Raiders.
10.5.
Directly on 10.
I'm gonna say push. I think they'll be 10-6. If anything, I'd say over.
Oh yeah, no, I'm definitely going over. I think that they're the number 2 seed next year. Second to New England, so I'm going over there. Just enough said there. Philadelphia Eagles.
9.5.
Oh, wrong again. Oh, it just feels so good to say Luke right is Luke wrong. They are at 8. They added some key offensive pieces to help Carson Wentz, who that side of the ball was a weakness for them, especially with Lane Johnson getting that PED suspension there in the midseason. Adding Alshon Jeffrey in the offseason, is that enough to move them up slot them in for 4 more wins?
No.
No.
Maybe 2 more wins.
So you're saying still under 8?
Yeah. I like Carson Wentz. I like Alshon Jeffrey, but he's only going to be there a year. He's only there on
He's only signed. He and Torrey Smith signed really good deals from a Philadelphia Eagles standpoint.
Yeah. So overall, no, I don't think they'll be able to get there. I think they'll probably be like 7-9.
You know what? I'll say over and say that they're one of the teams that just misses it with a 9-7, 10-6 record. That to me sounds right. I think when their defense carries them that much more, and the offense especially can somewhat lift them a little bit, I think that does give them a genuine push. And Alshon Jeffrey, especially working on a contract year, I think he's just going to be in a rage. The only thing I can see them needing is a running back, but really with Carson Wentz, I liked what I saw in year 1 from
Just
them.
have him run the ball.
Oh, there you go. Just pull a Cam. Here we go. Pittsburgh Steelers.
10.5.
On the button. You agree?
No. I'm going to say under.
Under 10.5?
I think they'll be 9-7. Maybe 10-6 exactly.
Yeah, they really underachieve in the regular season.
Lately they've been doing good enough to make it into the postseason, and then they
winning
show
a game,
up in the postseason. Yeah. So that's, there's not much to say about the Steelers.
So you're saying over?
Under.
You're
10.
saying. Oh, because you're predicting
10.
a 10-6.
Yeah.
Okay, under. I'm gonna take the over. They'll probably be the
fair.
3 or 4 seed, and in order to do so, you need to kind of be above 10, be at 11.
I think that's fair.
49ers. Hailing from San Francisco. A 0.5?
No, I would say like 4.5.
Yeah, right on the nose. 4.5.
I'm gonna say under. I think they'll be like 3-13. I don't think. They improved. And they won 2 games last year.
They won.
You know what? What the heck? I'll say over. I think they'll win 4.
Just give them be nice.
I'll be nice. I'll let them win 4. I think they did enough in the draft to where.
You'll let them win 4. The over under's at 4.5.
Oh, dumb. I'll let them win 5.
Okay.
They can have 5.
Maybe they'll play the Browns 5 times in a row.
Exactly.
Yes, there you go.
Maybe there'll be some weird scheduling change.
All right, I won't let them live. They're going under. Brian Hoyer is good enough for 3 games above where you were last year. And even then, I don't think he's going to get you to 5. I think he's going to get destroyed by opposing defenses. Let's say it's a bad first year for Kyle Shanahan. Seattle Seahawks. What is their over-under, sir?
10.5.
Wow. Right on the button.
Ballin'.
I should have done an extra little squiggle for every time that you got it right on the nose. I think you're at 4 of those. Anything you want to add about the Seattle Seahawks?
Just no. It's just some of these teams.
They're certainly winning the division, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of these teams I think we don't really need to say much for.
Right.
The Seahawks are gonna do what the Seahawks do. They'll play good defense.
So are you saying over?
Yeah. A 10.5, right?
Yeah, 10.5.
I think they'll win 11 games. I don't see much in their way. I think they'll be over.
Okay.
Cardinals will give them some trouble. The Rams will give them some trouble. But in the end, they'll be over. I think they'll be
I think
second
I'll go
or third.
over 2, and they're probably looking at the 2, 3, 4 seed there behind the Packers, because I think the Packers have a better schedule to play with as far as their in-division games. All right, here we go. This is the juicy one, all right? You ready? Really juicy. We're talking a double Angus steak burger. Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
9.5.
You're at 8.5.
Oh wow.
So-
I'm gonna say over.
Over?
Yeah, I mean we've made several references to them throughout this whole.
No, I'm saying over as well, but I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure. Definitely, I love their addition of O.J. Howard. Probably
made
the
good
steal of the
moves.
draft for me. It's unbelievable that he was there. And Deshaun Jackson, I think, really feels an inefficiency that they were struggling with last year to put the top over on the team. So
I'm not worried offense. It's more how are they going
Defense?
to move forward defensively. But if they can figure that out, I think they'll be set.
all right, Tennessee Titans,
9.5.
8.5.
Over.
Over.
I love the Titans.
So are they going to win that division? You're saying?
Maybe. I think they'll be in contention for it.
So for you, in your mindset, you've got the Tennessee Titans and the Houston Texans battling it out. Colts are a distant third.
Yes.
Okay.
The Titans were like number 1. They were top 5 in offense last year
Right.
because of that run game. And I think that
And they've done nothing but to sharpen that. They are unapologetically run and pound the ball.
Yes. And I think as long as that defense can catch up with them, even just a smidge, they'll be able to take a lot of games that they could have won last year. So I'm going to go over. I'm high on the Titans this year.
I hated their draft this year, especially if you can somehow find a way to pick wrong at the top in a top 5 pick with their wide receiver. I didn't like that. I'm gonna say under, just because I don't believe in Mike Mularkey. I know.
Throwing shade.
I'm gonna go on a personal vendetta there. Fake feud on Tennessee Titans Mike Mularkey. I'm gonna say under, and say Andrew Luck is the heir apparent to Peyton Manning. Take it on. Washington Redskins, hail the Redskins. They're the last ones. Where do they fall for you? Kirk Cousins,
8.5.
7.5.
I'll take over. I think Cousins will be able to lead them to enough.
Over on 7.5.
Yeah.
I just don't see any pieces there. I feel like they just got isolated on an island and all the lifeboats left. So I'm going to say under 7.5. Kirk Cousins doesn't have anything to work with, but yet he'll find a way to find some of those career stats. He'll get traded to the San Francisco 49ers.
Yes.
Boom, baby.
No matter what, he's not with Washington next year.
Oh, for sure. I mean, they're not going to franchise tag him again.
No.
Now, not that once they go into that third year, that is ridiculous money.
It's insane.
So he's going to get traded to either Cleveland or 49ers.
I don't think Washington's smart enough to trade him.
Well, what are they going to do? Just let him walk? You can't let a quarterback walk.
What else are they going to do?
They're going to trade him.
How? He won't be under contract unless they franchise
They'll
him.
franchise tag him and send him over to 49ers.
I don't think anyone will take. I don't think you can do. I don't think you can sign someone to a franchise and then trade them.
Well, no, you can, because that's how the Malcolm Butler thing was going to happen in New Orleans. You just have to make sure that they sign their franchise tender and it's approved, but you can.
He might not. He might, because it is so much money.
Yes.
And
he's been fully accepting of it in the first year. The second year, he was a little more hesitant. But all right, so there we go. There's our entire over-under line. And I feel good. I feel like we really do this. Maybe later on in the year we can do more personally. We can actually have a full entire schedule. We'll have our entire league NFL playoff predictions, say who's going to win the division as we get closer to the NFL season.
Once training camps and preseason starts.
For sure. And now we're looking at having us go to part 2 of this episode. And that's going to be our Gimme 5 section. So stick around, go ahead and leave this episode, go to the next one. We'll be waiting there for you with big open arms. Give them the love, Luke. Open up your arms.
No.
Open up your heart.
No.
Open up your head and mind
No.
to our listeners.
We'll see you in the next episode.
Bon appetit.